Hello everybody, welcome back to Mining Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler and this is Fraying Sanity Mill. We are doing it, friends. Fraying Sanity from Hour of Devastation. At the beginning of each end step, enchanted player puts the top X cards of their library into their graveyard, where X is number of cards put into their graveyard from anywhere this turn. So what that means is it makes some of our cards pretty good, like this Hedron Crab. It doubles all of our mill. Archive Trap all of a sudden hits him for 26. Mesmeric Orb just goes crazy. It's all pretty sweet. That is for sure. Now, of course, there are some downsides in that it's a 3-mana enchantment that does nothing, but the upside is pretty well worth it because, remember, it also just triggers off of cards going to the graveyard. So it kind of just adds up. They're fetch lands, removal spells, which we have several. We play Fatal Push in this deck. It's just kind of a different take on it, and it's pretty nice overall. Now, this Archive Trap, we have the Field of Ruin, which is going to be pretty nice because we're actually going to want to Field of Ruin this Nykthos. Going to lead here with Mesmeric Orb. Field of Ruin also plays very nicely with Hedron Crab for what it's worth. Alright, it begins. Let's mill our opponent. They must be on... Okay, their deck seems kind of sweet. Some sort of enchantment deck. I actually got trashed by this on Magic Online in the past week or two. Lost pretty hardcore to this deck. At least I assume it's this deck. Now, this Field of Ruin on this Nykthos is going to be very good for a few reasons. One, it triggers landfall for us by getting land out of our own deck. But also stops, them from popping off with Nykthos, which is pretty strong. Now, this has to be a pretty decent matchup for us. Leyline of Sanctity, of course, is terrifying, and that's what we're going to have to worry about later on here. But for now, looks like we're actually okay. We're going to get a resolve of Fraying Sanity here. And, I mean, it's not really doing anything with Mesmeric Orb because our opponent's doing nothing. But, hey, our opponent's doing nothing. And also, by the way, this triggers on each end step. That means it triggers on theirs. It triggers on ours. So that Hedron Crab hit him for 6 this turn. I'd really like to draw a land here. If we draw a land, we can Field of Ruin, the Nykthos, and Glimpse the Unthinkable them. And that's a lot of cards they're going to mill. All right, Banishing Light, a non-land permanent. So they can hit the Crab or the Fraying Sanity here. I assume they take Fraying Sanity. Yeah, all right. First Banishing Light to ever hit Fraying Sanity in Modern, I think. This is still good for us. It means we're going to get 3 mills out of our Mesmeric Orb next turn. And we're just going to go ahead and Mind Funeral them here. This Nykthos isn't a problem yet. Alright, well, not the best one ever. We got 9 cards with it. No Glimpse the Unthinkable, but sometimes it's better than that. So, okay, so... Our opponent has 30, I guess they have 28 cards in their library left now, and we can hit them for 10 with the Glimpse. And we can use a Field of Ruin to trigger the Archive Trap. So we have almost everything next turn, as long as this isn't a Leyline coming down. As a matter of fact, I wonder, well, no, Mind Funeral would have likely still been correct there. Basically, if it's a Leyline of Sanctity, the game gets weird because we have Mesmeric Orb to still win. But obviously, we're not really doing much against them. On the other hand, if it's basically anything but that, and it's a Knight of the White Orchard, right? Orchid, right Knight of the White Orchid. For no value, though, they don't get any planes with it. Unfortunate. I would have been fine with that. Alright, so they also turned on our Fatal Push, though, which isn't the worst thing ever. Fraying Sanity. Not a land, but still pretty good. Well, I have to make a decision on this Field of Ruin here. I think that I really want to play Fraying Sanity. But I think we don't want to let this thing get out of control. It currently is break even. So I guess they really can't do too much with it. If they played a land, played 2, a 2-drop, they could then activate it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The other issue with Fraying Sanity is, I mean, if they had Leyline, they would have played it. Alternatively, we can just Field of Ruin, Fatal Push the Knight of the White Orchid, and mill them for 16 this turn. I think that's probably better. I don't want it to be better, but it is better. Oh, JK, I guess. We turns out we do not have swamps. That said, they search their library. We get to mill them for 3 here. Now we get an Archive Trap for free, and then draw 3 cards off of our Visions of Beyond. Pretty good. That, of course, does... In fact, this will probably just kill them, right? This will find us the land. They're down to 8. We'll go ahead and fetch out our other Watery Grave here. Put them down to 5. And Fatal Push this thing for good measure. And they go down to 2 cards in their library after their draw step here. So I'm pretty sure we got there this time around. Interesting game. Now let's look at our opponent's deck here. What am I looking at exactly? MonoWhite Devotion, I guess. It's got some sweet hits in here. MonoWhite Angels? Oh, that's so cool. It's MonoWhite Angels. I love it. Okay. Archangel of Tides. This card is sweet. As long as it's untapped, creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless they pay 1 for each of those creatures. And as long as it's attacking, they can't block unless they pay 1. Pretty sweet. I like their deck. It is, however, horrendous against our deck. So, unfortunately for them, this is not going to work out. But I have to give them credit for playing an awesome deck. Pathar, Hedron Crab, sure. Alright, we'll just play this Glincy Unthinkable and be off to the sideboard here. So I suppose everyone watching this has likely seen the last round of Team Modern Super League. If you haven't, you know, I guess go check it out. The first round we played was much better. My team, the Brew Crew, myself, Todd Stevens, and Saffron Olive, we beat the pros the first time around a month or so ago. We did, however, get wrecked by the MNVA crew of Sam Eilenfeld, Emma Handy, and Megan Wolf last week. So we're still in the playoffs. That's the good news. Bad news is we do not have a bye. We brought out the jank last week. There were some fun ones, though. That was for sure. Didn't work out the way we wanted it to, but it was very close. Emma just destroyed us. She won 3 matches in a row in 3 games where we had lethal the next turn in 2 of them. It was a little awkward, I would say, for us, but that's fine. It was good games. Todd almost brought it back for us. He won 2 games with humans and then got, I would say, savagely top-decked by a couple unlucky draw steps for us. But very well played by Sam, obviously Pro Tour top 8 competitor, knows what he's doing. Crushed us in that game 3 against Burn. Almost had the reverse sweep going on, but regardless, we are in the playoffs. Unfortunately, we'll probably dial back the jank just a little bit, but either way, the Super League's been a lot of fun. Definitely enjoyed it. Enjoyed playing with those guys. Okay, here we go. We have 1 land. We have 24 lands in our deck. We have 1 land and good cards. I'm going to keep it because why not? We have 2 draw steps to make it work. So we have a 23 out of 53 chance, so it's a little under 50%. The second one will be that as well. It'll be, after we fetch, it would be, maybe I'm not supposed to keep this. You know, this ranges from, I mean, this is probably good. The double Mesmeric Orb is very good. It's one of our ways to win through Leyline. We're basically taking a 40-ish% shot twice to hit a land here. It's also not guaranteed we lose even if we don't hit the land, so I don't think our opponent's putting a ton of pressure on us. And obviously I'm just a great player. It's just all there is to it. I'm sorry. All right, let's go ahead and shock ourselves down to 17 here and run out the Hedron Crab. You know, Hedron Crab presents quite the conundrum if you're playing against it, right? Because, I mean, it is a scary card. It mills a lot over the course of its lifetime. Now, when you're playing mono white, you have the best removal spell, right? You have Path to Exile. And the thing is, a lot of creatures you can wait to path. Hedron Crab is not necessarily one of them because, yes, you see, it gets its damage in early in the sense of you just need lands to mill. It doesn't, you can usually take a few hits from a 1-drop or whatever, but you don't really want to path a Noble Hierarch, for instance. That doesn't do much, but yeah, you absolutely have to path the Hedron Crab, or it's just gonna, you know, clock you for 6. So, all right, and the downside, of course, for our opponent is that it means we get to start the Mind Funerals on turn 2 here. All right, there we go. That is a 12er with Mind Funeral. 3 mana, mill 12. I like it. Usually, it's, you know, there's arguments for running out Mesmeric Orb there, but there's a few reasons not to. One, it's less mana efficient, and that's a big part of the reason. But two, it's also if our opponent does have a ley line, the Mesmeric Orbs are a way to win after that. Meanwhile, the Mind Funerals would just be dead in our hand. So we just want to run our targeted effects out as soon as possible here. It also meant if I hit land there, I could double spell. Wow, now that is how you Mind Funeral. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 16 cards? Yeah, not bad. Turn 3, our opponent is down to 22 cards in their library, and we have Glimpse, so yeah, pretty strong. Majoring Network, this is a good one. Kind of cool art, too. It's essentially a colorless storage lane, if you remember the storage lanes out of Time Spiral, and or older sets, I'm sure. So you pay 1, you store a counter on it, but then you can just tap it to remove and get mana equal to that. So our opponent will get 2 mana with it next turn, if they want that. So they have access to 5 next turn, 6 with a land drop. All right, Shelldock Isle, this will be active next turn for us as well. I'm going to take the Set Adrift here. That way if they play anything we have to worry about, we'll have it under control. But I'd say this one looks pretty good for us. Milling for 10 with the Glimpse of the Unthinkable, pass with Fatal Push-Up. Yeah, our opponent does have 6 mana if they want it. Unfortunately for them, they are dead. I think they're dead. We, yeah, there's a Baneslayer Angel. Lifelink, not exactly where you want to be here. Alright, we will Glimpse and play this Mesmeric Orb and pass the turn, and that will do it. Taking it down with Fraying Sanity Mill. I have no idea if this deck's good in Modern. I don't even know if you should try to find out. But man, is it fun to mill people out. Thanks for watching, everyone.